Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's Grand Theft Auto 5 video, I'm going to be talking to you guys about the Cop DLC that a lot of us, if not probably all of us, would love to see added into Grand Theft Auto Online. So in the periods like this between DLCs, a lot of people start guessing and kind of thinking what would be the next Grand Theft Auto Online update. Just a day ago, I talked about the locked and lifted concept, which was pretty unique, kind of was a spin on Cunning Stun's import-export with like an off-road wilderness twist to it. And it was really cool. And since the dawn of GTA 5, so many people have been requesting that online get some sort of cop or police DLC. And the other day on the GTA 5 Reddit, a user, Sir Salty, posted this image right here. So it's some Grand Theft Auto 4 artwork, and it's this pretty cool logo that I think he might have created or found. I'm really not too sure. He doesn't share those details, but it's the Grand Theft Auto Online logo with the GTA 4 police badge, and it says, "Obey and survive," which is the slogan of the Los Santos Police Department, oddly enough. And this got the conversation started. I'll leave a link in the description, and I'm going to be talking about today to you guys how this DLC could work in Grand Theft Auto Online and some of the things that I would love to see. So first and foremost here, we need to understand what sort of DLC we would get if Rockstar were to do something like this. If you guys remember a couple months ago, it was actually discovered from some beta images that were found by Rockstar developers and animators and stuff like that, that there was originally plans for Grand Theft Auto Online for you to play as a cop. And I'll show some of those images on the screen right now. Essentially, Grand Theft Auto Online was supposed to be three different factions: cops, vagos, and then motorcycle gang. And as the cops, you would play as the good guy. But Rockstar have come out, and even some rogue Rockstar employees have come out and said that this wasn't what they wanted. Grand Theft Auto isn't about being the quote-unquote good guy. So this begs the question, how could you be a cop if you're not a good guy? And one of the users on this thread, Valor, said this would work best if you were playing as dirty cops. So essentially cops gone bad. And the missions could be like busting drug deals and then selling the product for yourself instead of bringing it back to your police headquarters. You could plant evidence, you could do some type of extortion and other sorts of corrupt cop stuff. And I feel like that would fit way better in Grand Theft Auto's universe, where basically you're supposed to be a petty criminal that's built their way up into the world rather than playing as the honest good guy cop. I know there's that community of the role play who just wants to be a cop, wants to be the good guy, but let's be honest, that's not what GTA is about. It's about being a criminal, trying to make your way in the world, doing as many illicit and illegal things as possible. So being the bad guy here would be the only way in which we'd be able to be a cop. Another user on the thread, Lukey, says that he could easily see Rockstar doing some sort of cool trailer for this, very similar to the San Andreas Flight School update that essentially wants you to join the LSPD, saying all the benefits and how great it is, and that could be your introduction for when the DLC starts. Essentially, the Los Santos Police Department would have signups, you would join up to be a Los Santos police officer, and then you'd go from there. And how this could work is, I would imagine Rockstar would tie this in to the CEO criminal enterprise system that we have right now. With the CEO crates, you've got bikers, and then you've got import-export. This could just be another section of that sort of CEO criminal enterprise business. Rockstar wouldn't have to build a completely new system, but instead could just build it on top of what we already have. And this would be great because it would be different enough from what we've done so far, which is importing and exporting cars, you know, eliciting illegal cargo, with the biker stuff more about drugs. So this would be different enough, yet similar enough where Rockstar could implement it into the game. Now, let's talk about the aspects of the DLC itself. Some things I'd like to see. Obviously, all of the police cars and cruisers that are in the game right now, I'd love to be able to purchase. For example, here is a website that someone created. It's just a concept, but being able to purchase these vehicles. And I'm not sure if these would only be able to be stored at like a police lockup or something similar to the special vehicle warehouse, but I want the ability to be able to own, purchase, and buy police cars, police vehicles, and I also want the ability to customize them. Now, I'm not talking about full-blown customization, but if you want a blue police car or if you want a red police car, you should have the option to be able to do that. They shouldn't only be stagnant Pegasus vehicles that you can't do any customization with, and you can only spawn in at various points of the map. I don't think that would be cool. I'd also like to see some vehicles return from previous games. GTA 4 was the last GTA that featured some sort of like cop multiplayer mode. I'd love to see the police Stinger, which was like the fastest vehicle in GTA 4. It also featured this like American flag livery on the side, which was rather unique and actually pretty cool. I'd also love to see the APC tank. That's another vehicle they could bring back from the Ballad of Gay Tony. Lots of different things here would be incredible for them to include. Going through some of the other typical things we see in a DLC, I think that weapons and clothing would be pretty cool. Starting with the weapons, maybe some more passive style things like tasers or stun guns or something along those lines that would be able to disable people but not necessarily kill them. Handcuffs as well might be pretty cool. Even if it's just a melee weapon, then you don't really use it for the like restricting purposes that they really are. Getting onto clothing, I'd love to see obviously all the police uniforms and outfits, hats, but also proper accessories as well, like police belts, the walkie-talkies that you would see on their kind of shoulders and whatnot. I'd love to see a bunch of different accessories like that, bags that you could wear on the players' backs. And then since Rockstar have been doing so much work with the CEO and biker missions lately, it would be cool if they had their own thing for something like this. So, for example, it would be cool if during the police missions or whatever secure or serve cop missions you were doing, if you had to like intersect a drug bust, or you had to like stop a cargo plane from shipping out a bunch of rare and exotic cars out of Los Santos. Not only could this be a great way for Rockstar to introduce some pretty cool elements into the game, but imagine like you having to get into a police helicopter and land a cargo plane carrying millions of dollars worth of cars. That sounds awesome. So yes, you could technically be the good guy, but then instead of returning those cars, you could maybe sell them yourself, keep them. I'm not really sure how that system would exactly work, but I'm imagining they would do that and also add some pretty fun PvP modes as well. Probably the most popular and highly requested one, Cops and Crooks. We know that was featured in Grand Theft Auto 4's multiplayer, and it was honestly one of the most fun yet simple modes of all time. And why we haven't seen something like this in online is pretty crazy, considering number one, how many people want it, but number two, how easy it would be for something like that to have Rockstar implement into the game. Now, I think there's only two main issues with a DLC like this. Number one is where we are right now in GTA 5. We're obviously about 3.5 years out, and it looks as if Rockstar is going to start focusing their attention on Red Dead Redemption 2, and they might not necessarily be putting forth the exact same amount of resources or effort for GTA 5. Yet, if they were to use the CEO system, wouldn't that be a kind of similar copy and paste job? Not to sound as a negative there, but if they were to just use the same system, wouldn't it be really easy for them to just do the same thing, just with a different skin in kind of the cops way? But also number two, how widely popular this cop thing is in single player. Rockstar might look at something like LSPDFR, which is a single player cop mod, and say, well, okay, you guys have got this. Why would we work so hard for something on Grand Theft Auto Online when you guys can just go ahead and play this in single player? Now, I know that's only for PC, which is a limited part of the population, but Rockstar still might see this and say, okay, you've got this, so why don't we work on something else? But overall, I really do think that this would be tremendous. This is a theme that has not been explored yet. It has been highly requested by the community, and there's so many different things that are already in the game that Rockstar really wouldn't have to work on. You know, they could add all the cop cars that are just blacklisted from online, maybe a couple new vehicles, couple new outfits, couple new weapons, the game modes, and then boom. Now, in theory, that sounds very easy to do, and from a consumer standpoint, which is what I am, I'm sure it looks easier than it is, but I still think this would be incredible, and I'd really like to see Rockstar kind of try their hand at something like this. The only thing I'm worried about here, and someone else brought this up in the thread as well, is the price that Rockstar would make all of this content. I mean, you saw how much the Ruiner 2000 was, the Rocket Voltic. Imagine how much like an unmarked police cruiser would be, or an FBI car. I mean, we could be talking about $2 or $3 million here for vehicles that have been in the game since day one. And that could be extremely depressing, especially if you're very much interested in a cop DLC, but might not necessarily have the funds to buy everything. So that's probably the only thing I'm worried about there. How much would all of it cost? With import or export, we saw how expensive everything got. So hopefully if they were to do something like this, it wouldn't be breaking the bank all that much. So I'd love to hear from you guys in the comment section down below. Let me know what you think about a cop-themed DLC for Grand Theft Auto Online. A couple questions. At this point in Grand Theft Auto Online's life cycle, would you want something like this to be added into the game? Number two, if you do, what would you like to see in terms of cop cars or vehicles or clothing or weapons? And number three, what sort of game modes would you like to see? Would you want it to be similar to import-export or just be more of like a free-for-all cops and crooks style mode? Like I said, let me know your thoughts, opinions, and more in the comment section down below. If you guys did go on to enjoy the video, though, a like rating would, of course, be awesome. And also subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new or you like daily GTA 5 videos like this. With that out of the way, guys, like I said, thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.